I did a little bit of a film breakdown for myself because obviously copyright claim. I'm still trying to work on how I can figure out how. Why am I rambling so much? Let's deep dive into that victory. What is up, Finn fans? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. I'm going to start auctioning off things. Don't mind me. Short week. So normally when I didn't have to deal with copyright claims and the NFL being pompous butts, I would do a film breakdown today. And just to give you a little backstory on what is going on. So essentially, the NFL has made public their All 22, but to access their All 22, you have to get NFL Premium on their website, which costs, I don't remember how much, but it's over $100 and something for the season. I do it for the year because I like to have access to the film throughout the year, so I can do film breakdowns every game, and then I can do film breakdowns in the off season, all that stuff. So I pay however much it costs to have it for the year, every year, because I do this. So I not only pay for it, but they've made it available. But not only to me, but to professionals as well, that's their job, is to break down film and yada yada. The NFL, for some reason, has cracked down like a mother on not allowing it to be hey, my film breakdown for the Jets game was copyright claimed. And that was what, a month ago, give or take? So like, they're like, oh, okay. Like I thought it was good. Like I put up a few and then nothing happened. They're going back and trying to copyright claim and really be sticklers about this stuff. So there is that. So I'm trying to figure out a way to still do it and not have to deal with the copyright claim because, it's a lot of hard work that I put into it. So I'd like to somewhat get paid from YouTube. And so again, to the patrons, I'm working on it, putting it up there because, you guys, we're not going through YouTube. So it's, behind some type of paywall, so they can't come after us, and it's just annoying. It really is just annoying. But watching the film, watching certain things, noticing certain things, I am going to talk about some statistics and how we can build off of this if the Dolphins want to continue to win. And again, I know some people don't, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video again. But real quick, I do want to shout out today's sponsor. You guys know him. I love him. That's Sleeper. Super fun, fantastic fantasy app. Go check them out. Use the promo code DDW. Get 100% matched up to $100. So if you do want to deposit and give it a whirl and give it a try, use the code DDW and the link below. $100. Then you throw, hey, I just want to try it. Let me throw $25 in there. Boom, they match the 25. You got 50 to play with. You see what I'm saying? But if you're like, I don't feel comfortable really depositing everything, boop. $20 entry, no deposit needed. So go check them out. So I use PFF. Now I use PFF for this stuff, right? For the statistics and for all that stuff. I don't necessarily use it for the grading because sometimes their grading can be super subjective. I did talk with somebody that works for PFF and he was telling me how it worked, but still, like, the could have been interception that Justin Herbert threw, they consider that a big time throw, not a turnover worthy play. See what I'm saying? So it's very subjective. So what I want to do is we're going to go through this, especially Tua, because I noticed something about him, but we're going to go through that. And then we're going to go through some of these things for the game because it can kind of tell you, and I can give you a story about what I saw without showing the film and essentially not getting paid for my hard work. So we'll first look at Tua, right? And as you can see the pass chart here, right? He didn't much throw it down the field, right? He attempted one pass, 20 plus yards. The middle of the field was his bread and butter. It always is. You see that 158.3 passer rating. He had a perfect passer rating throwing the ball over middle, 111 yards, 5 for 5, 1 touchdown. That's where his bread and butter was. He threw 6 passes, behind the line of scrimmage. A lot of these are screens. You will see here, like the type of screen where you'll have Devon Achane kind of go out here, and then he'll catch it and run up the middle. That's these kinds of screens. And then obviously you have the screens to the outside. But the thing that I want to talk about that I thought was incredibly interesting was here, right? So not blitzed, had a fantastic time, 92.9 completion percentage. He threw 2 touchdowns. They gave him a fantastic grade from their perspective. Now, when he was blitzed on 13 of his dropbacks, and he didn't do great, right? He still threw 2 touchdowns. So again, under pressure and blitzed, he threw 2 touchdowns, and then a clean pocket and not blitzed because they coincide. He threw another 2 touchdowns. But he didn't do too well, right? He attempted 12 passes. He only completed about half of them. He didn't throw an interception, but they, again, in their minds with their grading system, think, he didn't do good, even though his NFL passer rating was a 123.3. Clean pocket, though, he did really well, right? And you see his passer rating here. Did well. Again, you're going to do well when you have a clean pocket. And what makes me happy is the amount of clean pocket he had, right? Because he only threw the ball, if my memory's correct, like 26 times. So of the 20 times, he had a clean pocket, which is, again, this is why I wanted to show you this instead of getting copyright claimed, is because it shows how well the offensive line did against a very good defense, right? Some other things I want to show you, right? No play action and no screens. 3 touchdowns. And again, it's kind of the same thing. But he did very well not incorporating play actions and not throwing screens, right? So he's not trying to force the screens left and right, blah, blah, blah. Play action, he did do well. Not going to say he didn't. He had the touchdown. He was 9 for 8 or 8 for 9. He did a great completion percentage. And that is because the run opened up the play action. And you see, his passer rating was very high under play action because, again, that opened up. Now, his screens weren't great. Now, you look at the grade, and even, you look at the passer rating was better than no play action. But, 7 for 6, 49 yards, not great versus the non-play actions and the non-screens. So, cut them down a little bit, which they did. I'll give them credit. They only had 7 screens in the game, which is nice to hear. Now, his passing depth, a lot of people got on, well, didn't get on, but wanted to poo-poo his play on Sunday because, of course, they will, It is what it is. It's very rare to see someone be an even-keeled person when it comes to Tua, right? You're either super hating on him or you're super loving him. And if you're even keel and see both sides of the spectrum, then you get called enemy of one or the other. You can throw me in that category because, I get called a Tua an ear and I've been called a Tua hater because I see both sides and I am objective with him. He had 1 attempt of 20 plus yards, but his bread and butter was over the middle. You see, he had a perfect passer rating when he's throwing it over the middle, between 10 and 19 yards. He had 111 yards, 83.3 pass completion percentage. He had the touchdown, all that beautiful stuff. Then in short, you see that's where he was really throwing it the most. He threw about 18 passes from 9 yards to behind the line of scrimmage. And again, they gave him a bad passing grade for PFF, but if you look at the NFL's passer rating, it was good. And again, that's where his bread and butter was. He took what was given to him. I don't see that as necessarily a problem. So essentially, what I got from looking at Tua's passing chart and looking at the pressure and the concepts and the passing depth is, you got to let the run game work, right? You're not going to have an offensive line that is going to consistently give you top-notch stuff, right? You're going to be facing the Ravens defense, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, that doesn't have a good defense. Now, that doesn't mean their defensive line won't give you some fits, but they don't have a very good defense. It's like bottom ranked in so many different categories. The Bills have a better defense, but they don't have good rushing defense. Your next 3 opponents have bad running defenses. And that's where we can kind of look at the rushing, right? Because you see Ollie Gordon, Devon Achane, and Jalen Wright. Now, they gave Devon Achane not, again, see, this is where perspective, subjective, whatever you want to say, because Devon Achane, they gave him a 65.2 grade when it came to running. They gave Ollie Gordon more. It is what it is, probably because the yards per attempt and what he did off of the 10 runs, whatever. But they all did their thing. They all got the chunk yardage. They all got the, misdirection. They got not the yak, but they got the I don't know why my brain's not working. The yards off of contact, all of that. See the after contact, all that stuff. They did their thing, especially Devon Achane, 2.17. You have Jalen Wright, 2.78. So they were all able to produce. And when you look at the rushing direction, you can kind of see, again, this is where they show where it was most successful. So you look here and right here, right, that left tackle spot or the LT spot, which is between the tight end and the left tackle, that was where they had the most yardage, right? 24 yards. I think this is just one person. Because it's just 67 yards. We'll look over here. Yeah, again, 31 yards. And then 24 yards was kind of up the middle-ish here. 23 yards is over here between the right tackle and the tight end. But the most yards off of the attempts was over here, which again is a great sign and something I'm going to talk about, because there was something else I noticed that I was very happy about. And I'll talk about it once we get done looking at these stats, because there's a few things that I want to talk about. But this is where they had the most run: here, here, and here. Not necessarily in between the guards and the tackle, which sucks. Because, again, this is Jonah. I want to see him do much, much better. Then I want to look at the defense. Well, we could look at the pass blocking. Very good from Ollie Gordon. That's something that I need them to continue to incorporate. Him and Alec Ingold, Aaron Brewer, Daniel Brunskill. I'm going to talk about that. Tanner Connor. I want to talk about him. They had Kendall Lamb in there at some point. I'm going to talk about that stuff. And then you see at the bottom here, they have like Patrick Paul is bad, even though, he gave 2 pressures up. He had a very good efficiency. Do they show the passer rating? I don't think so. But, this, again, subjective, because you see here, not a lot of hurries here. You got Larry Borum, Jonah, again, same situation as Patrick Paul. I think the offensive line did very well, but then you look at the run blocking, and it was Deluche, Dolce, Cabana, Hayden Rucci, Aaron Brewer, Tanner Connor, Patrick Paul. Again, Patrick Paul is that mover. Daniel Brunskill. So you see the run blocking with Brunskill and Patrick Paul. I'm going to talk about that. But I really quickly want to talk about the defense. And this is where, again, very subjective. They gave Rasul Douglas a 50 in coverage, even though he only allowed 4 catches off of 10 targets. His passer rating when he was targeted was 47.9, which is the lowest, not the second lowest to Storm Duck among our corners that played, but they gave him a horrible coverage grade. See what I'm saying? Like, again, I don't mean to poop on him, but a little subjective here. If the quarterback has a 47.9 passer rating when you target Rasul Douglas, come on. They think the Terrell Dotson and Dante Trader Jr. were the best. I think Rasul Douglas was the best. That's just me. Run defense, Jalen Phillips up there. Zach Sealer, again, if you go off of that, but also you can go off of the stop percentage. Jordan Brooks, Willie Gay, who I need to see play more. He only had 4 snaps, but he was very good at the run stopping. Jordan Phillips, very happy to see that. Sealer was up there. Then you look at pass rush. win percentage again. Jordan Brooks, Ifatu Milifanu, which was really nice to see. But again, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson. These guys need to be your bread and butter, and I will talk about that because you see Bradley Chubb all the way down here. I'm going to talk about that come Saturday. But overall, it was very good. The thing I want to talk about and the thing I noticed the most about this game was how well Tanner Connor and Dolce, I think that's how you say his name, did in blocking, run blocking, right? Especially Tanner Connor. Eric Brewer at one point just knocked a guy on his butt. Daniel Brunskill being used as that, sixth offensive lineman to help in the run game, and it helped a lot in certain runs. Very smart, and I'm very happy to see these tight ends get used. Now, Tanner Connor, I think you're going to see a lot more of Tanner Connor because of how well he did in the run blocking, but as well as he did in the receptions, because he had a few nice catches in this game as well. Let's see if I can find that while I'm talking. But very much did they use. Yeah, he had 2 catches. It was only for 6 yards, but he was very effective in that aspect of it. I liked what he, it seems like Mike McDaniel, and if you watch yesterday's video, you'll hear me say maybe a little too late, and I still think it is. If the Dolphins go on a 3-game winning streak, beating the Ravens, the Bills, and the Commanders, the bye week, all of a sudden, I think a lot of us are going to think differently of this team. So as of right now, I'm still in my show me mode, but we'll see what happens. And I will get to the people who want to tank. But I'm very happy with what I saw out of not only incorporating the big wing, right? You got that 6th offensive lineman and incorporating that, but out of the tight ends, Tanner Connor and all those guys helping blocking. But on top of that, taking Ollie Gordon and keeping him into pass block, because there was a few times where we either did play action or not, and he took out the blitzer and gave Tua that extra second to make certain throws. The throw to Jalen Waddle for the touchdown where he had a crosser helps to have that guy in there. Now, on the flip side, these rookies are getting better and better as the season goes on, which is making me happy and making this promising. Jonah, a guy I banged the table for, did not expect him to be playing as bad as he has this rookie season, but I'm seeing growth from him. Now, it should be better than it is, but I'm seeing growth. Kenneth Grant, this is his ranking among all rookie defensive tackles, right, since week 6. He's 4th in total tackles, which is 2nd. He's 5th in pressures, which is 2nd. He has 1 sack, which is tied for 2nd. He has a quarterback hit, which is tied for 2nd. 3 hurries, which is tied for 4th. 4 run stops, which is tied for 1st. And you could see, again, the growth from him, and this is among his rookies. So over these past 2 weeks, he's actually done very well. And I'm interested to see him continuing to, again, take that mentality of it's just football. Sometimes these rookies get in their head. Sometimes they hit the field and they think, I have to do this, I have to do that. Sometimes the speed of the game is a little too much. I want to see what these guys do as the season goes on. Now, to the people before I get out of here that want to tank, I was listening to 101.9 and I forgot which show it was. It wasn't Joe and Evan. Not Joe and Evan. That's not even no, it was Joe. Tiki and Joe. Tiki and Evan. It wasn't Tiki and Evan. It was before them. And somebody called in and they were upset that the Jets beat the Bengals. And the guy on the radio was like, guys, it's week 8. Can we just let the season play out a little bit more before we get towards the second half or the third quarter or fourth quarter of the season, then you start looking at, okay, we need to lose these games to have the first pick and yada yada blah blah blah. And he's right. Especially with the Jets, they needed to get a win for Aaron Glenn. He needed to start to build on some type of foundation. But with the Dolphins, right? You beat the Atlanta Falcons. I didn't think that they were going to end the season on 1 win. I don't think anyone thought they were going to end the season on 1 win. I did think at one point they were going to beat a team that they probably shouldn't have in the Atlanta Falcons, who put a butt whooping on the Buffalo Bills. But for the people who still want that first overall pick, whether it is for Mendoza, whether it is for an offensive lineman, whether it is to trade down, doesn't mean, due to the fact that we beat the Falcons, that all of a sudden we're going to go on a 10-game winning streak, or we're going to go on a certain game winning streak, and we're going to finish the season 8-9 again, right? Like I said yesterday, enjoy that win. And if we win on Thursday, enjoy that win. Being a 3-win team, 3-6, doesn't mean, again, we're going to go on a tear and end the season at 11-7 and yada, yada. Just enjoy the wins that come, because we all know how the Dolphins play, especially when you're going to be in Pittsburgh, in New Jersey, in New England, and it's going to be cold. So enjoy these wins, right? And take them as they come. And we will talk about draft picks. We'll talk about where we're at and, oh, should we lose this game or should we do that after the bye? How about this? After the Jets game, when we have 4 games left on the season, we'll take a step back and look and say, all right, if we want the top pick, let's see how this pans out. Because you never know, the Jets might go on a tear and like the way that first win felt and keep winning. The Saints might all of a sudden start winning games. Those are the teams that are in front of us right now. The Saints, the Titans, the Jets. We're 5. And the Browns. 4 of them are going to take a quarterback. The Saints, the Jets, and the Browns. So you want a quarterback. We'll talk after the Jets game. You lose to the Saints and the Jets, you put yourself right in great situation to get that number 1 overall pick. But we'll see. Take a breath. Enjoy it. Let's move forward. Tomorrow, I got the preview for the Ravens game. Thursday, before I go live for the Ravens game, I will have the picks out. Again, I appreciate anyone who watches my pick videos. It is the lowest one on the channel, but I do still appreciate it. Then Friday, Friday night, Thursday night into Friday, I will react to the win. Saturday, you will get my preview for the trade deadline. Are we trading anyone? Who, if, the wins, or buts? Sunday, I'm going to recap the day. And then Monday, I'll preview. I don't think I'm going to preview the trade deadline. I think. And then Tuesday, if we trade someone, I'll talk about it. And then we start the week again for the Buffalo Bills. So that is the schedule. I will see you tomorrow for the preview. And I will see you Thursday at 8:15 for the game. But like usual, stay classy. FN's out.